Hey, what's up everybody? It's Scott from Project Reboot. Welcome back. I realized this morning that I've spent the past couple of videos talking about how committed I am to losing weight, but I haven't really spent any time at all talking about my game plan and how I'm hoping to accomplish that. So in a really weird way, I kind of consider myself a weight loss expert. I mean, I've lost more weight cumulatively than anybody else that I know, and I've also fallen off the bandwagon a bunch of times, so I know what doesn't work. So right off the bat, there are a couple of things that I'm just not going to do. The first thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not going to dive headlong into a fad diet. Diets don't work. Anything that requires you to religiously follow a set of restrictive guidelines is inherently unsustainable. Diets just end up making you feel bad about yourself when you invariably find yourself in a situation where you have to break a rule or two. So diets are out. The second thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not going to spend a ton of time at the gym. And it's not even because I don't want to. It's just because I literally do not have the time. Now, I know that's what a lot of people say, but let me walk you through my schedule a little bit so you can see for yourself. I wake up at 5 in the morning, I make breakfast for my family, and drop my son off at school. I've got an hour-and-a-half commute to the office. I work a full day, get off at 6, have another hour-and-a-half commute home if I'm lucky, spend about 30 minutes tucking my kid into bed and reading him a story, answer some emails from work, maybe edit a couple of videos, and then it's time to go to bed and do it all over again the next day. So for 5 days a week, that's my life, and there's not a lot of extra time to spend at the gym in there. That's not to say that I'm not going to be exercising, but we'll talk about that a little bit more later. The third thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to have a cheat day. I think cheat days are a little bit like telling a heroin addict that they can shoot up, but only 1 day a week. It just doesn't work. For people like me, overconsumption is a huge issue. So letting myself eat whatever quantity I want of whatever I want is just something that's destined for failure. So let's talk about what I am going to do this time around. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to live by a set of dietary guidelines. Now, this is different from a diet in the traditional sense because I'm going to consciously make the choice to only adhere to it about 80 to 85% of the time. For me, the dietary guidelines that make the most sense is the paleo/primal/caveman diet. It just makes a lot of sense to me to stay away from processed food products and to eat more actual food, vegetables and fruits and meats and fats and the like. Also, I know from previous experience that carbs are my enemy. I know that I have to significantly limit carbs in order to achieve any kind of sustained weight loss, which is something that the paleo diet recommends as well. The second thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to set micro fitness goals. So I mentioned before, I'm not going to have a lot of time to go to the gym, but there are a lot of fitness trackers on the market today that allow you to get credit for just small decisions that you make on a daily basis. So for example, parking your car as far away from the office as you possibly can, or taking the long way to the bathroom during your bathroom breaks, or maybe even taking a short walk after lunch. All of these decisions add up significantly over time and could have a huge impact. I'm using the Jawbone Up Move, and I'm going to set myself a goal of achieving 50,000 steps per week. That equates to about 5,000 to 6,000 steps during the weekdays and about double that on the weekends. Now, I know eventually I'm going to have to start incorporating strength training into the mix and maybe get a little bit more aggressive with my cardio goals, but that's where we're going to start out, and I'll update you on how that's going over time. The third thing I'm going to do is I'm going to weigh myself every day. Now, I know there are a lot of schools of thought on what's the right frequency to weigh yourself. Some people say that you shouldn't weigh yourself at all. Some people say that you should only do it once a week. I'm a data guy. I really like the idea of having a data point at the beginning of the day so that I can take actionable steps to set myself up for success later on in the day. There's actually a study that was recently published that suggests that people who track their weight on a daily basis are actually more likely to achieve their goals. I'll try to find it and post it in the description below. The fourth thing I'm going to do is I am going to have a flex day. Now, I know I said that I wasn't going to have a cheat day, but I think a flex day is different from a cheat day in that a cheat day kind of implies that you can engage in complete and total debauchery for 1 day a week and then go back to your diet the following day. That's not what I'm hoping to accomplish here. With my flex day, I'm really just looking to give myself the flexibility to have foods that I normally wouldn't eat. Maybe they're not on the paleo plan. So if I'm craving a slice or two of pizza, I'll do that, but I'm still going to be really conscious of what my quantity is. The last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to be keeping you guys updated on my progress on a weekly basis. And I think it's that layer of additional accountability that's really going to make all the difference for me this time around. I can already feel myself stressing out in the best possible way about what kind of news I'm going to have for you guys next week when I do my check-in. At a high level, that's my plan moving forward, and I'm sure I'll tweak it over time as the results start coming in. If that sounds like a great plan to you and you want to give it a try, click on subscribe and leave me a couple of comments. Let me know how it's going. If you've got other things that have worked for you that you think that I should try, I'd love to hear about those too. And finally, just thank you guys for being there, and I'll report back next week with how it's going.